Let us read now the following preface of the Book of Catholic Education in Cameroon, 1890 to 1990s. It was published in 1992. Preface: Jean Zwa, Archbishop of Yaoundé, President of Episcopal Committee on the Child and the Youth. Christian education and school are totally in keeping with the universal mission of the Church. They are an inspiration, a call the Church perceives through her various contacts with the world to which she is sent. In Cameroon, the pastoral letter of the bishop about Catholic education, published in January 1989, reminds us that this call was expressed historically in various ways. Either by the colonial power, German, British, French, which, because it wanted to extend and establish its influence over the colony and the people colonized, at times linked to the opening of a mission to the prior opening of a school. B, or by the local population which, although pagan, grasped very soon that a school was the surest means of having access to the knowledge and the prestige of the European. C, either indirectly by the Cameroon authorities, who have always publicly recognized the significant contribution of private education to the formation of instruction of numerous generations of Cameroonians. D, or by the thousands of Cameroonian citizens and expatriates who keep instructing their children to our institutions. Whether the reasons for this great desire to instruct children to our institutions, the objective of Catholic school can be considered as being essentially to serve. First, to serve man called to develop and make whatever in him that is beautiful, great, true, and noble blossom and bloom. Physicians 4 verse 8. As it is doomed to die for lack of authentic education. What is required, as Pope John Paul II recalled in Douala in 1985, is to help the child and the adolescent to develop a personality worthy of man, worthy of the Son of God or the daughter of God. The Pope in Cameroon, page 96. It is a book reference. Second, to serve families which legitimately choose this type of education because of their convictions and scale of values. Third, to serve culture, the vision of man, of the world, and of history from the point of view of Christian education is unquestionable, a major contribution to man's culture. This education is so important that it attracts a great number of people, even though who do not share Christian faith. Fourth, to serve society at any level. For example, from the smallest group at the bottom to the biggest national or even international family, since the objective of Christian education is to work for advent of a civilization which makes every man a brother. So there is no difference between Jews and Gentiles, between slaves and free men, between men and women. You are all one in union with Christ Jesus. Galatians 3 verse 28. And it is this principle of universal brotherhood, which itself is based on the divine origin of all men, that gives to every child, every youngster, to every person the right to education, and which impelled the church for a long time to get involved in education and to make it accessible to all, whether rich or poor, great or modest, town or country, dweller with, like Christ himself, a greater attention for the poorest. One has in mind here all church initiatives which in this area have followed the preaching of the gospel everywhere, especially small schools founded near churches, bishops' house and monastery, as well as charity schools, which all lived through the Middle Ages in West, the very first European universities, which themselves date far back to the Middle Ages, colleges, which originally between the 12th and 3rd centuries were mere charitable institutions. Jesuit college between 16th and 18th centuries. Come on. Bold initiative of people like Jean-Baptiste de la Salle, 1651 and 1719, founder of the Brothers of Christian Schools that are well known in Cameroon. Marguerite Bourgeois in Canada, 1620 to 17. Or Jean Bosco, 1815 to 1880, and all religious congregations specialized in education which dedicated themselves to so many people, both young and old, throughout the world. Finally, one thinks about the first Catholic and Protestant missionaries who arrived in Cameroon in the last century and founded the first school, say 18th century, 19th century. Founded the first schools in the country, the first orphanages, and the first training centers. The Catholic Church, since that era of pioneers, has always tried to remain faithful to this commitment. She thus boasted her number of institutions, diversified initiatives, intensified her action, extended area of influence, still with the desire to meet the needs of a young church and a rising nation. Obviously, the education action of the church is not limited to the Catholic school sent to all without discrimination. The church the church ensures effective pastoral presence in government and non-religious institutions. Also, she is involved in the training of adults, the animation of support of basic communities in villages and quarters, the preaching of the gospel, and the renewal of the whole temporal order, etc. All these activities inevitably presuppose education. In short, the church, by definition, is a mother and an educator. The education of children, youngest, and adults, according to Catholic doctrine, recalls Pope John Paul II, is one of the fundamental objectives of any missionary work. The Pope in Cameroon, page 97. It is a book. Yet, the church regards the Catholic school as a privileged tool at the service of her mission. So, it is that while the Catholic school fittingly adjusts itself to the circumstances of advancing times, says the Second Vatican Council, it is educating its students to promote effectively the welfare of the earthly city and preparing them to serve the advancement of the reign of God. The purpose in view is that by living an exemplary and apostolic life, the Catholic graduate can become, as it were, the saving leaven of the human family. Therefore, since it can contribute so substantially to fulfilling the mission of God's people and can further the dialogue between the church and the family of circumstances of our time too. Declaration of Christian Education number 8. Okay. With regard to Cameroon, Pope John Paul II reaffirmed this importance of Catholic schools during the visit to Rome by Cameroon bishops on September 3rd, 1988. It said, in Cameroon, like in other African countries, said the Pope, the role that Catholic schools have played and continue to play for the formation of the masses and of elites is unanimously recognized. This formation consists in educating persons toward the attainment of human maturity by enabling them not merely to acquire knowledge, but also to develop their beings as sons and daughters of God. Osservatore Romano, number 43 of October 25, 1988, page 9, number 6. Close common. It is this role that the following pages modestly want to illustrate on occasion of the first centenary of the Catholic Church in Cameroon. These pages are an eloquent witness of the vigor and vitality of a mission which, while being only 100 years in Cameroon, is deeply rooted in distant past and lives on an ever new and current message, the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. But if we are pleased and encouraged by our past achievements at a time when we are beginning our second evangelization, how can we turn a blind eye to problems posed today by the present and the future of this service, to which the Church attaches so much importance? This is a question. With the economic crisis, the financial resources and the number of students in Catholic schools are dwindling every year. But what remains more fundamentally disquieting is the problem of social injustice incurred by those who freely choose denominational schools in our country. First, parents pay a double contribution, tax and school fees. Second, teachers are badly paid. Their salaries are lower than the ones of those teaching in government schools. And more to that, they are not paid regularly. 3. Budget always suffer from a chronic deficit due to imbalance between the ever-increasing expenditure and dwindling financial resources, etc. It is thus very easy to guess the impact of such problems on the quality of education. Given these problems, will Catholic education survive? And if so, under what form? Another question. The 1987 law on private education advocates the liberalization of school fees and chancy granting of state subsidies. Do such principles not make denominational school a private and profit-making enterprise? Question. Will Catholic education, therefore, not become a commodity for only the rich? Another question. To be sure, we will still have our prestigious colleges and primary schools in towns, but who will be enrolled in them? And what will become of those schools in rural and underprivileged areas? Another question. These problems, which date back to the colonial era, especially in French-speaking part of the country, have been further compounded by economic crisis as the purchasing power of many families has considerably declined. To ensure a better future, it is necessary to mobilize all those who believe in the importance of Catholic education, as Pope John Paul II requested us to do during his pastoral visit to Cameroon in 1985. He quote, "The work of Catholic education will be beyond our strength if we lived isolate. Yes, let us unite." Close the comment. The Pope in Cameroon, page 105. We are therefore counting very much on the dynamics of every structure of concertation and collaboration that exists and functions both at the national, diocesan, and parochial levels and in schools, namely the Permanent Committee of Education, SPEC. Come on. The annual meeting of principals of college. Come on. National Parent Teachers Association of Catholic Education, ONAPEC. Come on. Local and diocesan parent teacher associations, associations of former students, etc. During his meeting with the bishops of Cameroon in Rome in 1988, the Pope also recommended that dialogue be pursued with public authorities to overcome the peculiar problems Catholic economy is experiencing. Such a dialogue should provide measures that can guarantee the equal rights and duties of all citizens concerning education in our country. It is signed Jean Zwa, Archbishop of Yaoundé, President of the Episcopal Committee on the Child and Youth. Peace be upon him. Let Jean Zwa. This reminds me the call I received in dream by our mother Mary to call Cardinal Tumi, who was in Marienberg. I don't know where is Marienberg, but he informed him that she is not in Marienberg. They have to come to Nsimalen, where she is waiting for the whole Cameroonian people. At that time, Cameroon was in a great mess as you see they kept us 3 years here. During 3 years, no school could be functioning well because politicians, businessmen who worship money but do not worship God. Now, God is in front of us. Christian, non-Christian, non-believer, and believers. As he said, when I will be back, everyone will see my face. That time has come. It is not tomorrow. It is nowadays. We are visiting every day the publications of Ndomo Melingui Thérèse Facebook pages or YouTube pages, publications. God is with us. He never said that Jesus is God. No. Jesus always tell you that my Father sent me to you to bring the gospel. Let us make it clear to every believer. Let us remove the wrong way of transmitting the gospel. And let us bring back the original gospel written by Christ himself. It was revealed to me in 2015. I have it here. It was written in France, in French. It may also be in English. The life of Jesus Christ will give us the true gospel. Not gospel written by other people. No. We need, if we want to follow Jesus Christ, he advised me to repeatedly ask that his gospel, which is in Roma, be pulled out so that everybody will know. Let me show you the one I have. This is the book I'm putting behind so that everybody can read the title. And I'm calling the attention of all our bishops in Cameroon, in Catholic Church, to find this book. La vie de notre Seigneur Jésus-Christ, Louis Veillot, par Louis Veillot, 7e édition, revue et corrigée. Paris, Gaume, Frères et J. Dupré, éditeur. 4 rue Cassette. It was published in 1865. Since 17th century. The Bible and the the gospel were lost. But they're not lost because you have them in your libraries, in your museums, Catholic museums. We need that. See, when I did procession in Cameroon, I didn't know that there will be a book. And Shanzwa, after our procession and what happened there, very, very successful procession, meeting Mama Marie with the celestial people at Nsimalen in Cameroon. How can you understand that after the death of Archbishop Janzwa, everything lost? And we cannot have any reference about this big event, which was organized not only by the Catholic people, but also the government was involved. The army accompanied us from Yaoundé to Nsimalen. We were escorted by the army, and we have many security agents with us. And you can see how we did that procession. Very, very big event. How many people working from Yaoundé to Nsimalen by foot? And you have that event, which is removed in the history of the apparitions of Nsimalen. How do you want people to believe in the Catholic Church in Cameroon? Why do you hide those things? And who hid it? Who don't want to see this place where Mama Marie have always claimed that is where he appears in Cameroon. He appeared, I was there. The enlightenment that I have today, I didn't start here. I was in Cameroon and I was enlightened in Cameroon. God is God and God is truth. If you serve God, be truthful to his gospel. People of Cameroon, next August 15th, Mama Marie invites you to Nsimalen. Those who will go, let us see, let us understand, let us get feedback from you people. I'm in France. I'm not in Cameroon. But in spirituality, there is no barrier. When God chooses you, he enlightens you. Everywhere you can see things that none can see. It is not magic. No, it is a divine mission. And people of the world, we need to come back to this. An agenda for peace. Boutros Ghali. UN. We failed. I received this in 1995. Since then, I'm always waiting to see this peace all over the world. And you remember that We also planned the women agenda, which I am following, being a volunteer of UN Women Department, UNIFEM, since 1995. Benevolent. I don't have any pay. That's why I'm working since then till today. Because God never produced money. No, he didn't produce money. Go and read Genesis. The full Genesis will tell you the story of Genesis, the beginning of the Lord creation. A divine creation without any mistake. He created us in his image, which means sanctity. Oui, Seigneur, nous croyons. Oui, Seigneur, nous croyons. Fais grandir en nous la foi. Si ta bouche proclame que Jésus est Seigneur, si tu crois dans ton cœur que Dieu l'a relevé d'entre les morts, tu seras sauvé. Si ta bouche proclame que notre Père a fait le monde par amour, si tu crois dans ton cœur qu'il fait tout homme à son image, tu seras sauvé. Si ta bouche proclame que le Christ ressuscité nous a donné son esprit, si tu crois dans ton cœur que l'esprit nous entraîne vers le Père, tu seras sauvé. Ici, c'est mon livre de chants reçu en Chine. Prières et chants du peuple de Dieu. Manuel des paroisses. Édition Tardy ACR. Publié le 9 novembre 1992. C'est ce livre qui accompagne ça. Quand j'enseigne aussi les chants. Comme ça. Et ceci et ça accompagneront les deux. Et nous vous disons, comme on vient d'être interrompu par l'arrivée de celle qui fait le ménage, nous reprenons la prochaine vidéo après. Docteur Ndomo Melingui Thérèse, à tout à l'heure. Merci.